Hi, it's me again with Corel Tips and Tricks. Somebody sent me this. This is he's calling it a bore hole for a gear, and he wants to engrave this plus the number. Now he's thinking he might look better if this was on top, and it will look better. So I sent him this. He wanted to know how I did it. I'm going to hit P, put it in the center of the page. I'm going to take that. I'm going to make a copy and hit P, put it in the center of the page. I like working in the center of the page for a lot of reasons. I'm going to have to take my indexing lines now and hit P and put them in the center of the page. Anyway, the way I would do this is to take this, if this is the bore size and you want it off a little bit, I'm going to Control D and make a duplicate, and then I'm going to make it just a hair bigger. And then I'm going to Control D again. I'm going to make that quite a bit bigger. This is going to be our writing area, and we're going to stay off that other area. I'm going to take a 2-point line, start moving it, holding down the control button. And I'm just going to angle this thing 22.5 degrees. Well, you know what? Let's go 30. Then I'm going to take that and Control D and mirror it. So what I'm going to do now is take my Smart Fill tool and fill in that spot. And I'm going to, now this will look a lot better because I played around with this logo. If we separate these two parts, because when we do what we're going to do, it kind of makes that circle. He also draws in, I like drawing in hairlines. He's drawing in 1/2 inch. So what I'm going to do is take this object apart and then group this object. And I got to remember that it's kind of at a, so I'm going to group that. I'm going to make a duplicate so I kind of know what it looks like when I'm done. But then I'm going to take this object, and instead of using the envelope tool up here under effects and have it go in there, it's not going to work. So what I'm going to do is get this object pretty close. And with it selected, I'm going to go get this envelope tool. And then immediately I'm going to take away the 2 center nodes. Now the bottom node is real close, so I'm going to put it, well, you know what I should have done? I might need to rotate that around in a second. Well, yeah, we can still do it because I still have my circle and I nudged. So I'm going to take the envelope tool. Let me zoom in here a little bit because we're working in the center of the page. I'm going to bring this straight down. I'm going to bring this go up. I'm going to bring this kind of like straight down. I don't have to go to the corner. Don't worry about the way it looks right now. I'm trying to go straight down. You could probably actually hold down the control button. Then we're going to just take our handles and kind of conform them to our envelope. And you can see how it's kind of distorting the R because, well, we're doing on a curve. I mean, you're asking it to do something, and so that's what it's going to do. So that looks pretty good. But we actually need it, and if we would have done that, it would have made this a funny shape. Now what I can do is I can take this object and nudge it over. That way I know where the center is. Even though we're not working in the center of the page, I can have this click to there. Now that envelope is there, but it doesn't affect it. So I'm going to double click on the rectangle or on the word, and I'm going to put a rotation. I'm going to click off of it, click again, make sure it's there. And I'm not going to worry about the box. Well, I'm moving the box. I want to rotate the word. If he wants that thing in there. You know what? I actually want that box. So let me just nudge that box out of the way for a second. We're going to use it as a reference. And then we're just going to move that over a little bit. And then we're going to actually put this back. And we're going to try to place that pretty close to the, instead of enveloping it, I'm just going to place it in there. And we might need to make it a little bit bigger or smaller because we kind of made it but at least it's going in the same direction. And I think that looks pretty good. Now let's take away our box. Now his main question, I'm going to Control G to group that together, and I'm going to move it back over to our object. So if this is the bore size, and every bore size is going to be different, I'm a little bit off on my center, so what we can do is select both these, group them. See, I'm a little bit off on the center part, so I can move this to this center. By this, it's rotating it in at least the right direction. And we're going to move this back a little bit to kind of make it equal. Now, I'm going to change this to a hairline, and I'm going to change it to red. Now, if we change this bore size, it's 1.5 inches. If we change it to 1 inch, it's going to mess things up. I got my ratio locked, but you could still bring this down. Now the arc isn't going to be the same, and it all depends on how many he's got to do. To me, that would be good enough. The only other thing you could do is reduce this. See, we're 1.5 inches across, but we're a little long. If we have our ratio locked and we make this 1 inch, it made the circle 1 inch, but our logo stayed in proportionate off the other for the bore side. And if we back up, look at that, the difference between the two, it works. So you need to change this number, not this number. And because it's a ellipse and we've got this, shut down or locked, we could make it 2 inches, and it's the circle is still 2 inches, and we're that far off the equal amount. And I agree. I think it would look better on the top. Now he's got another question about part numbers on the bottom, and he hadn't answered the question whether if all the parts are a different number. But I think you could do the exact same thing. And if he'll send me that information, I'll make a second video. But I think that'll work right there. Hope that helped. Thank you for watching.